All right. Welcome back, everybody, to match 2, round 1. 15 for the win. Torada and Block Drone against the Karolingers. Karolinger and Asmodean. Torada opting to fly the Saber. His partner, Block Drone, taking the Arrow. Karolinger taking the Saber for Karolinger's team. And Asmodean taking the Talon. So I hope Asmodean is well-versed in the workarounds to keep this Talon operating. Here we go. This is a weird start. That was kind of like didn't feel like anyone was committing there, but Torada Block Drone creeping in around the side of SPK here. No team taking the lead and initiating fight here. Torada did a very similar thing in previous tournaments, actually. This is, he likes to play this way, almost like a reactive fighter. But yeah.
Yeah, you're sort of assessing. Okay, yeah, and just seeing if anyone's going to make a mistake, slip up. It's a decent way to play it, I'd say. You can. A lot of people just play aggressive and they shoot the first second they can. And look at this, the Arrow's getting a great opportunity here.
Torada already unloading on the Saber here. It's Saber v Saber. That's interesting.
And there he goes down.
Karolinger picked off. Asmodean dealing a little bit damage back to Torada, which is good to see. He's in that Talon now. He's going to start doing some work. Noise drop, so a little bit of cloaking there on Torada. But Asmodean doing his best here, applying much damage as he can to that Saber. Saber already pretty heavily damaged in its mid-hull, but that Talon's wing is about to blow off, and there it goes. He's lost it.
And I'll be honest here, the Talon did not do a bad job with the situation that he was in there.
All right, getting set up now for round 2 of match 2. 15 for the win. Team Torada Block Drone versus Karolingers. Karolinger and Asmodean. Waiting for the go here. And all matches are going to be on SPK, guys. All matches on SPK here. We're not going to be changing up the arena. It's a good arena commander map. Nice bit of environment to kind of play with, you know, with the station. And it's a good backdrop. One of the more popular AC maps, I think.
Yeah, definitely probably one of the best for performance.
All right, the ships are off, throwing out scans, slowly moving towards the arena now. And again, Team Torada taking the edge, left side edge of SPK. Creeping around, throwing out those scans. Obviously not picking them up on passive radar yet. Trying to ascertain the position of the enemy team. And Torada leading the way with the Saber, like we said earlier. Best to lead with the, you know, the tankier ship. Put that ahead. Try and force them to kind of engage that first. And give the lighter ship chance to do its thing. But both teams a little bit tentative here. They're not sort of committing yet. Who is going to take the first fight? Who is going to push? Who's going to react?
Definitely. Dropping a chaff there. It looks like maybe they're trying to see if they can sneak up, or maybe they're going to rush here.
It's a great idea. Yeah, drop the noise, gain a little bit of speed, a little bit of velocity,
they're going to commit here.
And open the engagement. Ooh,
some decent shots on Torada.
Really good shots on Torada there. Staying on that pancake, getting a nice slot on Torada there, Asmodean. Doing exactly what he needs to do to take advantage of this fight like this. And look at the damage he's already dealt. I know we're not using, like, you know...
Karolinger did go down there, I think.
I think we may have missed that then. So Karolinger is down, but the Talon...
It's a 1v1 situation. Can they recover?
Absolutely
Especially against the NDBs in a 1v1. Ooh, oh, this is going to be tight.
This is what we were asking for. This is that tight fight you wanted. Burks, Talon on Arrow. Arrow with the NDBs. Talon with the 2 Rhinos. Talon needs to extend now. Create a bit of space between the Arrow and not get too close. Don't let him get too close with those NDBs.
And look how hard of a time 1v1 he's having staying on this Talon. And that's all because these NDBs are just not reliable. It's much more advantageous to have these CF repeaters. Like, look at that. Like, it's
beautiful
there
applied
you go.
Damage. Excellent kill from Asmodean. And there it is. That was an excellent fight, actually. I mean, it looks like they're opening up with another sort of safer opening again, but I would, like you said, be a little bit more aggressive. If I was on 15 for the win, Terrada's team, I would open with a more aggressive opening here and try and get rid of that Talon as quickly as possible, personally. Karolinger, he's going down quickly. Like you said, we haven't really seen what his aim is like. Talon is the bigger threat here. Asmodean is the bigger threat on Team Karolinger. So yeah, I would try and rush him down and get rid of him quickly, and then take your time with the saber here.
Yeah,
We're
it's hard to say.
Weapons range.
Yeah, is it just that they're focusing the saber first, or is it that Karolinger is the one who's going down first? We're not sure.
Yes. And it looks like Terrada's opting for the saber again. Yeah, they're opting for the saber again. Picking off the saber. I guess they just feel that the saber is the easier target, but
yep.
Terrada's already lost his shields because of it. He's already got a red hull. Yeah, and meanwhile, Asmodean's just doing work with the Talon. And there it is.
Both go down at the same time. It's a 1v1.
Back into another 1v1 situation. Now this time, Asmodean needs to maintain distance. You know, he can apply damage at a longer range. Block Drone can't. He needs to try and stay out of that sort of 500, 800 meter range as much as he can and take his time. Asmodean can do that here if he wants to play strategically.
Yeah, both are kind of taking heavy shield damage. Nobody wants to fully commit here. If I was the Talon, I would, at least from a mid-range, be very aggressive here.
Mm-hmm.
Just focus on my evasion. And it looks like he's doing a great job at DPSing him.
Arrow just melts, man. I mean, this is why you don't see me flying that thing.
Be very hard to recover from this. We'll see if he can do it.
Using the station to get some shields back there, that was sick. Very nice. Drop some chaff and then use the environment to kind of block off some damage for a little while. Really good. Really nice play here from Block Drone. Asmodean trying to hunt him down, going for that finish. Is he going to hit the station, though? No. Whew. Really nice flying here from Block.
I think that if I was Block Drone here, I'd wait to get my resources back up and then push very, very hard. Get as close as I can and just make sure that that pip is close to the ship as possible and apply as much damage. Because there's really no other way he wins here.
Absolutely. He needs to get in and make a real knife fight of it. But unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. GG's. Asmodean takes the win for Team Karolingers. I'm really surprised. Karolingers is a strong team right there. Asmodean, yeah, I mean, Karolinger going in. Yeah, absolutely. Karolinger donating the saber to the Asmodean cause while he deals the serious damage. Let's take it over to the analysts and see what they have to say.
Well, that was a wait, but the wait I think was worth it. What about what are your thoughts there, Avenger One? Now before I jumped, I throw it over to you. I just want to make sure that the Talon was told to the creators during the brief that they need to use it at their own risk, because if they do switch over to nav mode, I think back to SCM, there is a visual bug there. But I mean, it looks like there wasn't any issues. But I'll throw it over to you because it seemed like this matchup led to that 1v1 situation where the arrow just couldn't put out enough damage.
So this is something that we've been running into a lot with these arrows. Is the arrow doesn't really have a lot of hit points, you know. And this fight, you know, again, really came down to like picking primaries. You know, Talon breaking its wing at the beginning was kind of a lucky break, which does happen, you know. So it's not like it's an impossible thing, but you know, like look at this clip here. Like we're engaging from past 500 meters with NDBs. And like I was saying when this match started, you know, talking about the arrow, this is really like a perfect example of why velocity matters. You know, like if you can reach out and touch the enemy before he can get close to you and apply damage with his weapons, then you're going to be in this really tricky spot where this Talon is doing a perfect job at controlling the distance between the enemies. And I mean, in 6 degrees of fighting in space, you know, the trick is always about applying damage quicker to the other guy. You know, I love the arrow. I really do. But this just goes to show, like, disparity of weapon velocities makes a huge impact. And even though the arrow theoretically can do more DPS, all that matters is, can that damage get to the target? I also noticed that the arrow was flying coupled at most points during that fight. And I feel like sometimes, especially for some pilots who don't train what's known as the rate fighting, is the arrow has a significantly higher turn rate. So it can stay on top of the Talon and apply its DPS without having to worry about evading too much. But we didn't really see the true strength of the arrow being leveraged here. We fought a Talon, which is higher shielded, more DPS, not more DPS, more tank, stronger in the mid range. We had an arrow trying to fight the Talon where she's the strongest, which is the worst choice you can make. And it's tough because, it's always 20/20 hindsight, but perhaps the better play there would have been to go for the Talon first, because you want to take that bigger threat off the field as quick as you can. I mean, I think these were definitely the most high intensity fights we've seen so far. Yes, the Solar. It's a beautiful stick. Sorry. But I mean, I was happy with these fights. A lot of really fast movements, a lot of really fast transitions between lateral movements and then back to forward. But yeah, I mean, it just goes to show the arrow is struggling. The arrow is struggling, but it also wasn't utilized in where she was the strongest. And I think if they would have utilized the arrow where she was the strongest, they might have probably had better results for it, right?
Got it.
So
yeah, but I'm not chilling. I actually just got it in the mail, so I was like, let me show it
Nice.
off. I think I have the Dual 6 coming along, but no, that's totally right. The Talon too, like we told them to use it at their own risk, and guess what? Doesn't even need to go in nav mode. It's either like I mentioned before, it's either going to be fight or flight at that point, and they need to just do the damage and get him out of the way. Also, the maneuverability of going around the station and using the station to get your shields back up, that was actually pretty cool. I know Detox mentioned that as well, but yeah. Anyways, we have our next match coming up already. We're ready to go. We're gonna try to move things a little bit quicker for you guys. So thank you so much for that breakdown, Avenger One. Again, thank you so much for that insight, because I know a lot of people in chat was like, hey, what's going on the screen? And it's just super helpful to get that insight about the Talon versus the arrow in those situations right now. All right, well, let's check out the bracket really quickly, and then I believe we're going here into our next match. But before we do that, let's take a quick look at the bracket. We got Cacahuete versus Karolingers, and then we got Sometime in Summer. I mean, you got Salty Mike back on that winners round 2 board versus Buzz and Bumps, which is definitely going to be a battle there. But I feel like Moist Doodle is feeling it. And then we got unfortunately, like we mentioned before, 15 for the win got eliminated and skill issue. So they're waiting to go up against their opponents here very, very shortly. So let's take it back over to Detox and our guy Burks for more commentary in this next matchup.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Match 7. We're over to the winners bracket now. And yeah, we've got Herbazita. My man Herbazita is back with Mohicano for the Cacahuete Caliente. I think I'm saying it right. I think it's hot peanuts. I Googled it. It means hot peanuts, making sure I wasn't saying anything.
Sounds great
vulgar
at the moment. I could use a snack.
Yeah, Herbazita Mohicano for Cacahuete against the Karolingers. Karolinger and Asmodean, who surprised me in their previous fights, actually coming out with some really good wins. So both teams are strong teams. I'm looking forward to seeing this one.
Yeah, both doing better than... It's not that I expected these teams to do bad. I just I wasn't sure what people's skill levels were, how much people have been practicing. So kind of interesting to see some good competition. I think this will probably be a pretty even matchup. I'm excited to see how the Hawk does on this one. Can it pull through again is the question.
Well, no, this one is a... Oh, wait, no, sorry, you're right. There is a Hawk here. All right, we got the wrong information. We have a Hawk pick for Herbazita again. Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the wrong sheet. But no, interesting to see the Hawk come again. Maybe we'll see another EMP hit, a successful EMP hit, Burks. I hope we do, because it's always nice to see those. But yeah, we'll see we'll see what he can do with it. Again, I'm glad to see Herbazita going for it again and mixing up the meta here with a off meta choice. Same with Loken and the Buck, but this one's a little bit stronger. A Hawk is a little bit stronger, I feel like.
Yeah, I think at least in the mix of it, it's fragile, right? I wish it wasn't. I would. Oh, and here they go. It looks like
We
I
are
wish the
actually on
Hawk.
the way, Bucks. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish the Hawk was engaging a little far there, but looks like the merge is good. His shield's already down. Oh, is he knocked out already?
Negative. He's just.
He just had a great merge on him.
I think it was just a great merge. I don't think he got EMP'd. We might be able to see a replay of that. We didn't have the Karolinger's perspective there, but no, the EMP is still charged. Hawk's EMP is still charged, and now it's going to be a matter of focusing down that Talon. But the Talon could do some serious work to that Hawk, and if he can take down the Hawk, which he does, Asmodean again, proving to be really scary with his aim in that Talon. Now he's got a bit of freedom to deal with this Saber and get on top of that delicious pancake as he is.
Now
look at that.
Yeah, is a really interesting matchup. And it looks like Asmodean is just absolutely doing really well here in this 1v1. I wouldn't count the Saber out in a 1v1 situation. It just looks like Asmodean is performing very well. He's keeping him off his nose. He's trying to outrate him, and he's aiming very well while doing it. So, I mean, it looks like, yep, there he goes.
Yeah, at that range, I just don't think the Saber has a chance. It's just too close. It's too tight. The Talon has the maneuvering advantage, and it has kind of free reign in a situation like that. If he wants a better chance, I feel like he needs to extend a little bit more if he can. But it's a tough ask against an aggressive Talon like that. But no, beautiful aim. Another pullback from Asmodean. Karolingers wins round 1 in match 7. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Herbazita pull off a nice EMP hit. But we'll see what they can do in round 2, Bucks. Whoever wins these goes on to the next stage in the winners bracket. And then whoever loses from these goes down to play against Blaze Detected and the Bobs. And if they lose that, they're out. Whoever loses that round is out in the losers bracket.
Right, so it's not over. There's still opportunities to learn from your mistakes. I mean, as weird as it sounds, it's like I'm sure people weren't practicing up until the last very minute of the tournament. So, there's still chance to correct your mistakes, get warmer, so to say, and tighten up your aim.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but it can take me a long time to get warmed up. The match is underway here, Bucks. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I need a long time to get warm up. Sometimes by the time I'm warmed up, I'm like the fight's over. You can be in like a massive battle in the PU, and by the time I'm starting to feel really good, it's like the battle's fizzled out and everybody's logged off. So it takes me a long time sometimes to get warmed up.
Well, I don't know if you remember this, but the first ever ATMO Esports 2v2 tournament, creator tournament, I was in the losers bracket and came back to win the whole thing. So, don't count the losers bracket out. Don't count the losers bracket out.
Absolutely not. No, we've seen that a few times in fight or flights and any dogfighting tournament that Atmos put on. It's crazy. Yeah, the losers get like a second wind, and just because they're in the losers bracket doesn't really discount them at all. It doesn't mean they're bad. It's just the other person was better at the time.
They are focusing the Saber again, which feels like it's going to be the wrong move here.
Yeah, it's the temptation to go for an easier target. Sometimes when you just
the aim
sometimes
there.
when you see that easier target, you just want to finish it and get it out of the way and not dedicate resources to something else. But they got to get rid of Asmodean here, man. Karolinger's down, but Asmodean's the threat, and that Hawk has taken sufficient damage that Asmodean can pull this back, even though it's another 2v1 situation.
It's technically a 2v1. That Hawk is not going to be a lot of help here. If the Saber's smart here, he'll try to get a full reset. I mean, if that Hawk can do anything in this fight, it's going to be an advantage. But it doesn't look like he's going to be able to pull through. It just looks Asmodean is cleaning up.
Herbazita is able to apply some damage now. His teammate just needs to stay alive here. He just needs to stay alive and distract that Talon for as long as possible.
Gets him with the
Unfortunately,
target off.
nice. Unfortunately, he could not stay alive any longer. Did Herbazita apply enough damage in that time, though? We'll see. He's definitely applied some. This could be a pullback. This could be really nice. Herbie could pull the win here.
He's not completely out, but his shields are going down a lot faster than he's able to apply damage to Asmodean. I think he got an EMP off as well, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough.
That EMP now would be so clutch. But unfortunately, he didn't have it. And Asmodean pulls in another win. Beautiful work. Wow. That was a great fight there, actually. Would have loved to have seen Herbie pull off a EMP there in that little standoff, because that would have literally clutched the win for him. But no, that was a great fight overall. GG's. Let's see what the analysts thought of that one.
Jeez.
Yo, like...
So did you
just go
notice
ahead,
the critical
yeah.
error? So
I honestly, I did not. All I'm
before.
seeing is a Talon just slapping.
Mhm.
I mean, okay, let me see if I can guess this real quick, because I probably saw it, but I just maybe don't understand if it was critical or not. So I thought, because like you had that Hawk for the entire time running away when nobody was going against him, he could have easily communicated, hey, he's not on you. Help me, help me, help me. And that allowed Asmodean to just 1v2 them.
So when you're dealing with essentially Hawkeye, you have to respect the fact that you're going to get out DPS, right? In this case right here, the Talon has a stronger platform, stronger DPS, but they've got the numerical advantage and they didn't leverage it, only until the very end of the Saber fight did the Hawk appear into the fight, and it just wasn't enough, So, to me, this was a great opportunity that they fumbled it because they were not able to communicate as a team. If they just would have disengaged together, thought about it, been smart about it, and then just got the resources and came back into the fight ready to fight, they could have easily 2v1 that situation, but the Hawkeye card goes to Asmodean today. That's for sure. That goes there in the corner. The boy doesn't miss, So again, right? Like, there's going to be situations where, you're going to be outskilled, and you got to know that coming in. So you got to think critically. You got to know your own skill set, know what you're up against, and find ways to get around that, right? So they had the opportunity there. Herb does have enough accuracy to get on target. If he just would have waited, or he just would have, the Saber just would have waited for him to reset properly. And I also noticed a couple times the Saber disengaging in a poor way, turning up, giving the entire front face easy to hit from even like kilometers away. All these things, this is all the stuff that comes down to training, right? That's why, we train so hard in Avenger Squadron, like in other squadrons out there too, is these little things start to add up. You extend a little too far. You disengage a little too soon. You disengage a little too long. It all adds up. Those seconds count, And when you're up against a high skill pilot, we see someone like Asmodean, they're precise, they're calm. Notice that there's a calmness in which he's aiming. It's not frantic. It's not out of control. It's deliberate, controlled, and calm. And that's what you want to do. Smooth as fast, And so it's a really gorgeous way to see like an expert level marksman, and how calm and precise they can be, against a two stack. So, no disrespect to both teams. Everyone's trying their hardest. They're doing a lot, objectively speaking, tactically, this is what went wrong in that fight. A failure to communicate position and distance led to a 2v1 opportunity that they could have leveraged for the win, but they didn't take it.
He was pretty far out, like where he didn't even have to run. But you're right, they could have reset and came together and hopefully brought that, hey, let's communicate, let's calm down, let's bring up a strategy, right? And let's turn around and let's both take him on. But doing that one at a time is what cost him that match. And unfortunately, let's take a look at our bracket, but that dropped them down now to the losers bracket. So you're going to see Cacahuete Caliente versus the Bobs, and that's not going to be a very likely matchup for them, right? Because, you got both Bognagas and Jadek. like you mentioned, they're probably going to go on that run. But now you have Karolingers who just secured a top 3 spot in the tournament.